Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, I wanted to talk about work-life integration, or at least, the opposite idea of work-life balance. And this is a idea that I've had for a long time that I've never really known how to articulate. But as I'm growing my business and as I'm being required to make harder and harder decisions, and push harder than I've ever pushed, and prospect more and sell more and lead my team better and everything like that, my business really has forced me to, integrate my life in my business. Work-life balance is this weird Western idea of you should have your work life, or it's not even really Western, it's more like modern American or just modern culture. We have this idea in general of we should have our job and we should go home from our job and then relax. And that's, life. Life is the opposite of work. Work is bad. Work is bad because work is boring, and therefore life is good. And we should go have a good time and hang out with friends and party or something, or travel or whatever, because work is bad, obviously. Obviously work is bad. And this is just such a huge assumption that our culture has made, that because work is boring, it is inherently bad. And to be honest with you, a lot of the holdback that I noticed, we help a lot of people start and grow businesses, right? We've got a beginner tier program out there that helps people start their own consulting or coaching or agency business. Then we have one we call 7-figure systems, which is kind of to help people scale a little bit further. If they just want to get right to the meat of things, just hop into there. We plug you into the beginner one for free, right? And I've noticed we've worked with over 500 business owners. So over 500. And one of the main things that holds people back after, working with tons of these people extremely intimately on their businesses is they have this idea that, they are balancing business against something. Every moment they're spending on their business, they're taking away from their life, which is just, it's horrible, because the reality is business, in my eyes, is a vehicle to create a life that you don't want to escape from. You get to serve people that you're excited to serve. You get to, bring the value to the market that you're excited to bring, impact people's lives in a way that is meaningful to you. I heard this idea recently, and my girlfriend actually shared it with me, and she said, our culture has this thing for self-love. It's you gotta adopt self-love. You gotta make sure that you're taking care of yourself. And it said the highest form of self-love, not bath bombs and doing your makeup and, whatever people consider self-love right now, binging Netflix. The highest form of self-love is to build a life that you don't want to escape from, that you don't routinely want to leave. And to me, that's what business is. We're given the reins, the control over our income, over the people we surround ourselves with, over the sorts of people we speak to on a daily basis. We get to choose these things. And, it's not like it's harder to choose good things. We just choose better things. We choose to go after better clients. We choose to make more money. We choose to, make less money. We choose to have a better team. We choose to have a worse team. The accumulation of your decisions ends up defining your life and your business. And what's interesting is some people think, that only applies to the rich, or it only applies to, but it applies to everyone. You're making choices every single day. And this idea that work and life have a different set of rules is absurd and misguided. It's the same set of rules, right? And let me explain why this is, right? In personal life, if I say something rude, somebody will get offended, right? In business life, if I say something rude, somebody will get offended. In personal life, if I tell someone I'll do something and then I don't do it, I've broken character. In business life, if I tell someone I'll do something and I don't do it, I've broken character. In every field, the same rules apply. It's not like it's a different environment. So by categorizing your life and saying I've got business over here, personal over here, fitness here, faith here, and you almost follow a different set of rules for each of these things, you're creating an unnecessary amount of complexity that more than likely is the primary subconscious and mental reason why you are having a hard time growing your business. Growing a business should come naturally. It should be easy and fun, and it should feel like you're aligned with your life's purpose while you're doing it. That's what we help our clients do, right? We help them figure out a niche and an offer that they're just absolutely excited to sell. mean, tomorrow I've got a meeting with somebody who, he's this, maybe he's watching this video right now, but he just stands out to me because he just comes from another end of the world, right? He's this corporate executive, and he wants to build an offer to help people succeed in the corporate world. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like, that's totally on the other end of the spectrum for me, because most of the people that we work with, they're completely opposite of corporate. They work from home, sometimes in their PJs, and they just, chill out and have a blast around in their business, right? I don't. I like getting dressed up. I like wearing nice things and nice watches and whatever while I work, but most people aren't that way. So, but my point is, you want to build a routine that you enjoy, build a life that you enjoy. If you find that your business is stressing you out, it's not your business's fault, it's your fault. You have to accept responsibility for that. Otherwise, you're surrendering the state of your business to the state of random variables in your business, like what you owe in taxes or what your clients are saying about you or whatever, might be or not be in your control in that very given moment. So work-life integration to me starts with doing something that you choose to love, not doing something you love. This is a huge lie. It's this idea that we need to find something we love so that we can then, enjoy it, but and not work. Do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, right? There's some truth to that. Like, there are some things that you will do that will not be fruitful. And what I've found is it has mostly to do with the people involved in the thing that you're wanting to do. So if you are going into, say, an industry where there's a lot of sharks and there's a lot of, ruthless, people in there, and there's a lot of, backstabbing and back talk and people that aren't loyal, and that's going to bleed into you, and you're going to find you are that way as well, and it's going to lead to a bad life. So same with your team. If you hire people that don't have integrity and good character, or if you work with clients that are that way, you're really building an environment around yourself slowly but surely that you're almost destined to fail in, because it's just so hard to succeed in. So it doesn't matter the industry or what you're selling. Really what matters is, who are you attracting? What are the relationships that you're creating while you attract and sell what you're selling, while you build your team, while you put out the content you need to put out in order to attract clients, while you hang out in Facebook groups to prospect clients, whatever it is that you're doing, who are you attracting? What are the relationships you're making at the end of the day? Because those allow you to sustain over the long term. The friends that you make, the relationships that you create, the people that you impact, the lives that you change, or the people who have changed your life, what are the relationships you're creating? So this idea that work is a separate category, and then we have life over here and then work over here, limits our ability to succeed in both areas. Not just in work. This isn't just you should work harder and spend more time working. This is also, your life is affected. Because if you have this idea that, life is this thing that you do on the side to work, and work is not something you do on the side to life, they never compound and feed into each other, and they never allow each other to grow in the natural way that they're supposed to. The Hebrews, have, if you go to the Old Testament and you look at people's last names, or at least going back, even just a couple generations in the United States. You're not even going all the way back to the freaking Hebrews, but just the last couple generations in the States, our last name used to represent what we did. It used to represent who we were, what we did, what we stood for, what value we brought to the market, really. What did we do for our common man, right? What did we bring to the table? And up until very recently, money was seen as a mediator. It's not an evil thing it's seen. It's just this, it's a way of, providing thank you notes to other people that they can then exchange with other people as well, and everybody's getting thanked for what they do. But nowadays it's kind of seen as this higher power that is abused, which is just a totally broken way of viewing money. But that's a whole other video for a whole other day. We used to see our last names as what we did. Nowadays, our last names are just random whatever the frick, because we've forgotten the idea that, a big piece of who we are is what we do. And, it's how we found our value in the world up until very recently. Now, we're looking for our value in more esoteric things that are left undefined. And, in my opinion, and this is just an opinion, it's a part of why we have such a crazy, depression rate and horrible things happening in people's heads these days, because they don't have, a good way to see how they measure up to society. We're looking for random ways to measure people now, you know, and we're starting to just key in on just the most weird ways to measure people as valuable, and it just makes no sense, really, in my opinion. But again, that's just an opinion. So getting back on topic, work-life balance essentially means, you know, you've got work and you've got life and they're separate. And people they live, you know, happy lives doing that. But it's a lie that keeps both of those ends of the spectrum from benefiting each other in a way that people don't even realize they could if they were to combine them and move them all into one and allow both to be run off of the same principles, so that you can be the same person in both environments and allow both to compound out and grow naturally out into the future the way that they're designed to. So hopefully this video made sense and hopefully you enjoyed today. If you're listening on Spotify, once again, we've got a podcast. Check that out as well. And hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.